with time to spare. Well, good morning, Facebook. Coffee mates. I don't suspect there will be very many of you today because I told you I wouldn't do this, and that was actually my plan. This is going to be interesting. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my setup, probably talk a little bit about the software, and we'll just kind of go with that. So, first things first, let's see if I can do this. I'm going to switch scenes, which I can do in the software. I'm going to go to my phone, and then I'm going to just use the camera to show what's going on here. Let's see how that works. Hey, so far so good. Cool. Well, this is my setup. Oh, I'm going to see there's a problem here. I'm going to have to take the mic with me. So wide view of what's going on here. I'm in my basement at 50, well, let's not say where that is. Someplace in Boise, Idaho on the bench. This is my main system. This is my MacBook Pro. You can tell it's a little messy. I'm sure that Michael would give me a hard time about that. Yeah, just in time, Wendy. Thanks for being here. I think it's, oh, look at that there. Here, I'm going to move this out so I don't look so messy. So I can control my computer completely using the mouse. That's how I change things back and forth. So good morning, Zig. How are you? That is the fabled microphone that has been such a challenge over the last couple of weeks. Let's see here. Let's go. Now, one of the things that I love most about this is I can switch things around. You can't see it, but I can also go back to my camera. And there I am. How fantastic is that? So I can switch from my phone camera to my main camera. Let's do that. Oh, this is going to be weird, isn't it? Okay. So this is my this is one of my standard cameras. It's my Canon Mark II 6D. Great camera. All of this stuff I had before I just kind of put it all together. So that's the main camera. Yeah, it's kind of a professional real camera. It doesn't have to be. You can do this with, there are many people using this software with just an iPhone or a point and shoot. I have to remember to look straight at it because I have a tendency to look at this screen because it makes more sense to me than looking at the camera. You'll find, especially if I'm doing something that's difficult, I look at the screen, not at me. Over here, this is my main monitor. Again, this is a monitor I had. I use it for teaching. You can see that there are some I have my regular Facebook up here. I can add just about anything to this screen, and we're going to get to the point where if I continue to do this, and by the way, I'm seriously considering quitting. Hey, look at that. So now I have Lightroom on there. This afternoon, I'm going to teach a class about talking about Lightroom. And if I go here, it's hard because I have to move the mouse. Like I said, this is completely unscripted. I can, oh, didn't do it. Still didn't do it. Oh, here we go. If I switch that button, now I can show you that monitor on the screen. I suspect that somewhere along the line that's going to become useful. I don't know yet what that is. So, the other real serious component to this is, let's go back to, see now I'm going to switch to phone screen. It didn't do it. Okay, so I guess I probably have to go, oh, I know where, it's down here. I have to go here, I have to go back to screen, and I have to go to David's phone. So the other big component here is these lights. Now, these are my studio lights. I went to the, you can tell, they're digital. They're also, if I need to be, run by batteries, which is absolutely fantastic. If you ever need to If you ever need a portrait, a headshot, and you're in Boise, give me a call. I can literally bring an entire studio with me. Bring a couple cameras, I bring a couple lights, I can bring a backdrop. I can just absolutely just show up and do whatever you need. So, everybody, that's pretty much my setup here. If you're interested, I'm going to do a beta class. Denise and maybe Dancy are going to join me. I'm going to use this screen here, and I'm going to actually show what I do to my photographs in Lightroom. Won't that be fun? So if you're interested in learning a little bit about Lightroom, DM me. We'll be on at, I'll do that somewhere around 2:30. One more thing here. Let me show you one more thing. So in addition to be able to use my phone as a camera, maybe, I guess not. Oh, I know what I do. Here. I can also use my phone to show various photographs. So we'll be probably doing some more of that as things move along. I hope you all enjoyed this little behind-the-scenes tour, unscripted, a bit of a mess, but, they kind of are anyway, so... so I'm going to just go through, since we're just informal here, and we're going to just wander around here, let me go back to this, and let's just hang out for a minute. We'll talk about what's going on. So, good morning to Wendy Lee and Zig and Sharon and my friend Denise, who's going to be joining me this afternoon. Zig, it is pretty fancy. Here, David. Well, this is a lot like taking a day off, David. I didn't put together a script. You'll notice there's no little comments or no additional stuff. I really wanted to see if I could do all of this switching back and forth without it sounding like too much of a cluster and being too confused. I had a little extra time this morning. The dog got me up early, so I decided about a half an hour to go that I would go ahead and try it. This is much easier because there's not a topic. There's really no pressure. It doesn't tell me how many people are on here. It does someplace, I don't know where, but, there's 7 or 8 of us as opposed to 15 or 20. It makes it much easier. I know all of you pretty well on this podcast or this live, so I know that you're not going to be particularly judgmental. I have gotten a little bit of, let's see here. I have gotten a little bit of flack for my lack of polish. Well, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. I have said more than once, especially lately, one of my favorite saying is, I have learned by making the same mistake more than once. So that's kind of how this goes. So, Mark Overgard, that's digital messaging. If you'd like to join me for the Facebook class, just send me a message here on Facebook, and we'll hook you up. So it's going to be fascinating. It is also going to be, the reason I'm doing this beta and just with friends, it's kind of like this. It's completely new software. It's a lot of this, and I'll be doing some of this, and it will be absolutely... it will be absolutely a little bit choppy. Like I said, I'm not particularly good at this sort of thing, even when I understand what all the buttons are, and when I'm doing something new, it can really be a mess. So, that's kind of how that works. So I'm just going to be practicing on my friend Denise and probably Nancy, and it sounds like maybe Mark will join me too for a little bit of Lightroom discussion. So... See, this is exactly what friends are for. Mark, I appreciate that. I appreciate that greatly. No, I'm not a professional broadcaster, but I do come to this with heart, and I do come to this with all of the limited talents I had. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining me for this bonus Heard Over Coffee. I'll be back tomorrow, I believe. I do not have any idea what tomorrow's topic is. I have it written down, so it's kind of roughed out. Maybe I should talk a little bit about that. one of the things about my world is we're really bad at stopping. So what I do is I generally come up with a topic. It shows up, comes into my head usually. I try to keep a day or two in advance ahead, so I don't wake up at 8:30 and go, oh my God, what am I going to talk about today? And then generally, I kind of have a format. You've noticed I generally define it. I talk a little bit about what we're going to talk about, and then I talk about it, and then I take some questions usually from you guys, and then I also I try to add some levity, do something good, and then we wrap it up. I try to keep them to about 15 minutes, which I'm shocked that I'm into this one already 10. So it's kind of fun. All right, everybody. Man, I got to tell you, I so much appreciate you all for joining me. It gives me purpose. It gives me something to do. We've built quite a bit of a community here, haven't we? I've been getting somewhere between 75 and 100 views, which I think is really good. I started with 100. It got to 120, and then it dropped back. I got to admit, I kind of was hoping it would get to be a bunch, but, maybe this is better because it's just smaller and intimate. Well, this is Heard Over Coffee. I'll see you back tomorrow. I think I'm going to finish up. Let's see. I'm going to show you. I guess I can't. All right. I have to hit a button. It says finish. And then it takes about, sometimes a couple of seconds, sometimes as much as 30 seconds before it goes to end of broadcast. So I'm going to do that. Thank you all. See you tomorrow.